What is up, internet world, and welcome back to Accelerate. I'm Mike, he's Ian, and today we're bringing the 2023 BMW M340i. So this is the 2023 BMW M340i that has gone through a mid-cycle refresh. Now, we reviewed this car 2 years ago and we got 350,000 views. And that is because this car is amazing. It is literally amazing. If you ever dreamed about buying an M3 but did not have the pocketbook or checkbook, well, voila, this is the car for you. It is light, it is nimble, it is quick, it looks relatively sporty, it's family oriented, and it is cheap on insurance, and that's why people consider them. In the 2023 BMW M340i that makes 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque out of a turbocharged inline six-banger. All right, put it in sport mode. Let's go, Sport Plus. This is electrified. Still got the 8-speed ZF. Oh, more electric in the world. Let's have some fun with this thing. Love it. Let's go. Some power and go. What are we doing? What are we doing? 4.62 without a proper launch. This is just brake boosting this bad boy and 4.62. All right, let's talk. Let's get this puppy with a launch. I don't know how to put launch control on, but we'll figure it out. Let's push some buttons here. All right, launch control. Stability program off. All right, so that does. For the ground. Nope. All right. Press sport. Sport again. For the ground. Nope. Sport plus. Okay, just tried that. Okay, so nothing happening. It's coming for the ground. Nope. All right, BMW. Can you be as hello, BMW. Can you be like Mercedes-Benz and make it easy to launch a car?
Here are the destinations I have found for the name Mercedes-Benz. Which would you like to select?
Nothing. All right, let's try to launch this bad boy. Foot to the ground, all the way up. Power. Go. Better. Better, better, better. 4.16. Okay. To the ground. Put this puppy in S. To the ground. Launch control active. Got it, baby. Let's go. What the heck? 4.26. It was actually a hair slower. But this noise in the back just sounded like someone threw some luggage in my trunk. Flip the ground. Launch control active. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Go. .19. That's funny. You actually don't even need traction. You don't need launch control. Some cars are vastly different. This is pretty much exactly the same. Exactly the same. All right, that's enough of that. Now, for the mid-cycle refresh, BMW's done some strange things with this car. Well, number one, they added electrification. Number two, they've got rid of all the physical knobs inside. Number three, they've done some funny business with the shifter. And number four, at least they still make it. To the front, well, BMW calls this LCI, or Life Cycle Impulse, which means basically a mid-cycle refresh where they change up a few things to make it sound new. Now, let's start with these headlights. They are completely the opposite of what they used to be. You see, these L-shaped design DRLs were the other way around. Now they're opposite. Nothing to me feels like ellipsoids when they had it back in the day. This kind of stuff is just kind of silly, if you ask me. As far as the grille, thank God it's not the long, big grille. It's still sort of the original kidney grille design, and it is more inverted. It has more bump outs when it comes to this black, and behind it you have louvers that open up to suck air for the engine. Moving down from there, it is more cut out. These bumpers are obviously different than the last model. Also, you have the 50th anniversary badge up here and pretty much your usual radar down there. Everything else is pretty straightforward BMW. When you see this on the road, you know this is a BMW. To the side of the BMW M340i. So if you start off with this front bumper here, you can see how it's been pulled back and you get the visuals from the side. Now if we move further from there, you've got 19-inch wheels. These are M Sport wheels, including M Sport red brakes. And you can see the fancy M right behind it. The car sits fairly low with M Sport suspension, more M badging, and of course M3 mirrors. So at first glance, you'd be like, this is very M3-ish, but it's kind of missing the wide body as I move back down. It looks elongated, yes. It does have this sporty side sill, yes. It does have keyless remote on all 4 doors when you touch the handle, yes. It does have black trim, yes. But where is the wide booty? This is where the M3 shines. Here, you can see that these wheels are sort of inside. They don't really pop out like BMWs always used to. We want a wide booty because you have a staggered setup. These are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. These are 225, 40, 19. And when we go to the back, these are 255, 35, 19. So yes, they're staggered, but they don't look staggered. They look exactly the same. They're too inward. They need to widen out that offset in the back. Anyways, nonetheless, as we move back, you've got this cute little spoiler. Again, they've refreshed this rear fascia, so the bumper looks a little bit more elongated. You can see that width from the back. Other than that, obviously there are some differences when it comes to the rear diff. It's got it, thumbs up. That's all on the driving experience. To the back of the BMW M340. So if we start at the top here, you can see it has the shark fin. It has this cool spoiler. I like it. It's nice and matching blacky. Moving down from there, it says M340 on this side. On that side, of course, this is an X-Drive. The lights try to widen the vehicle, but the best part about it, realistically, is down here. I like this black lower valence, and of course, these black tipped exhausts. They're dual. It makes the car look way more sporty in black, and it looks cool. Front seat of the BMW M340i. Now, first things first, there's a bunch of changes when it comes to the old model versus this one. This screen, that's a huge upgrade. Then there's no shifter anymore. I have a little toggle, just like the Porsches. Also, I don't have any preset buttons. Those are all vanished. So those are the 3 big changes I see right off the cuff with this BMW M340i. So if we start with this door panel here, it has all the same features as the old one. 2 memory seats. Of course, you can adjust your windows. All the good stuff that every car has. You have 1 cup holder as well as a little bit of space for some chips and your Harman Kardon sound system, which is pretty much standard across the board. But there's one thing I want to talk about, and that is in comparing this to a Mercedes-Benz when it comes to ambient lighting. If you like ambient lighting, Mercedes-Benz has it dominated. They just love ambient lighting. BMW is a lot more subdued. It's just a lot more, I wouldn't say basic, but it's just more plain. It's in the right spots, but it's a very small strip. It's just like an accent piece as opposed to taking over your life like Mercedes-Benz does. And moving on onto the dash, you have a heads-up display, but the big feature here is these curved screens. You have a 14.9-inch infotainment center that runs on BMW's latest operating 8 system. You have a 12.3-inch driver's display, but if we focus back to this fancy curved screen for the infotainment, the issue is that everything runs through it. If I want to put on heated seats, I have to go through it. It's 2 or 3 buttons I have to press to get into it. It's not that it's complicated, it takes a while to learn, but there's no hard buttons anymore. There's still a volume knob on this strip down here. You can skip tracks, go back, you have your defrost, but everything else is done in the screen, which is a little bit tricky. Now, BMW says what they've done is they've left this rotary knob that they introduced 20 years ago in the 7 Series. That's still here, so you have buttons down here to control, so when you're driving, you don't necessarily have to touch the screen. But it's still a little bit of an extra process, especially for those that like to have their presets. So 1 to 8 presets are gone now. don't have it anymore. Your HVAC controls, like there was 13 buttons that they got rid of, physical buttons. Now it's simply all done by the infotainment and this little cursor or knob down here. And then there's no more shifter. So you actually have this little toggle, but again, Porsche is doing it. So this is what it is. As far as different drive modes, it's also down here. You have Sport, Comfort, and then now the new Eco Pro. You have your cameras, your stability program, and then of course your automatic handbrake or parking brake. Then the other thing is this texture. I'm glad it's not piano black. It's sort of this like matted sort of, I don't know what you'd call it. It's some sort of like, you tell me. Then you have a panel that opens up to your cup holders. You have a wireless charger that does a really good job, easy to use. You just slide your phone in, slide your phone out, and you do have a USB in case that doesn't work for you, and you have a cigarette plug lighter as well. And moving back from there, you have your armrest that has decent amount of padding. It is wide and long enough, so it should work for every elbow out there. When I lift up this center console, I do have a USB-C and a little bit of storage, not a ton of storage, but you know, fair enough. But the seats, that is the key. These are sporty. The leather is durable, that is for sure. These things will not wear down. So if you're worried about keeping your BMW for 10 years or 15 years and you want the seats to hold form, these seats will do so. It does have manual leg extensions, and of course it does have cool bolstering, so it tightens me up and holds me in around the corners. As far as the steering wheel goes, this is a pretty straightforward M steering wheel. It has soft cushioning when I cushy it or I squeeze it. It has cruise control on the left, and on the right it has all your audio controls as well as your phone controls. We are in Canada here, so we have a fancy heated steering wheel, and underneath that you have a cool M badge. It's not as like, it's M there, but it's not as, you know, sexy as the M3. Now the layout of the system is very, very clear and easy to see, but to use you have to click more buttons, and that's probably the point of people that have older BMWs that may be upset about something like this. But they've tried to negate that with audio controls or voice control, so check this out. I hit this button and this is what I say. BMW, play hip hop.
Could you repeat that, please?
BMW, play station 52.
Which station would you like to listen to?
Diplo's Revolution.
Unfortunately, the vehicle is not equipped with that function.
So as you can see, it works perfectly, but realistically you have to use this screen. I mean, it's got a lot of data, so it's amazing that it's in depth. But to use it easily, you have to preset and get everything ready just the way you like it and not have a bunch of changing drivers, a lot of cars like we do. We jump in a lot of different cars. It takes time to know exactly what you're touching to figure it out. However, the quality of the screen is very good. Take, for example, the 360 or backup camera. When I put the vehicle in reverse, this is what I see. I can have different views by hitting this 3D view button and different camera points as I go along, and it gives me a display of what the car is. And the color is pretty much bang on. But I do want to point out that sometimes things are just over-engineered. Take, for example, the HVAC controls. Now I'm an automatic program and I want to turn the system off. Well, I can't do that because it can't be deactivated in the automatic program. So I have to press one extra button right here for automatic program and then switch it off. So something as simple as just turning it off because the fan is either too much in your face or it's too loud and you're trying to film a YouTube video. This is something small, but it's kind of an annoyance. All right, let's see what room we have back here in the 3 Series sedan with some power and some flair. Well, good enough for a guy that's 5'9" and probably good enough for a guy that's 6 foot. Lots of headroom here, lots of leg space, decent cushioning. I think they've got this stuff kind of mastered. Most manufacturers do, but I just want to point out something small. You see, when you're in the trunk and you pull the two handles, you get a 60-40 split, but you have some options when you're in here. You actually have a 40, 40, and 20 split because you can move this down. So if you want to put your skis in, you can do it. And then you have obviously a cup holder. You push this button, come on, and they open up one by one. You got 2 of them. That's pretty straightforward stuff. You also have map pockets behind both seats. You have your HVAC controls. You have two USB-Cs, and you have a nice soft thing for your arms. And you have 2 cup holders that are designed for you because they're not flat. See, a lot of cars are flat when you look at the door panel and how you have the cups. But in this specific case, it's angled towards me. So my bottle, I just lift it up, put it back in. Now this is a 3 Series, so the fact that it comes with this, a power trunk, is pretty cool. I was expecting that to be only on a 5 Series, so that is nice. How much room do we have? We have 41 inches of length. Come on, measuring tape, come on out. And then we have 41 inches of width, but it's getting stuff in is always the issue. So you have about 16 inches of actual clearance to get stuff into the trunk. And if you want to put the seats down when you're back here, you do have 2 handles, one for each side to do the 60-40 split. And when I want to close the trunk, I simply hit this button. Boom-de boom, boom, boom. So let's talk about the mild hybrid, because that's way easier for me to say than electrification. So they have a starter generator connected to the engine's crankshaft, and that basically sits in the transmission, and it gives you about 147 pound-feet of torque and about like 13 or 14 horsepower, and it's really just designed to help you when you're coasting. That's what it's designed to be, not when you're hammering around. Now, when you put into sport, it's everything you want your sports sedan to be. The throttle response sharpens up like crazy. The exhaust valves open up so you can hear it. And obviously the transmission just goes down a couple gears and just gets more raspier, and everything kind of combines together to make your M340i exactly what you want when you cut the check for it. Just listen to this thing. I got these cool shift gauges. Makes you feel young again. Oh, it's amazing. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. It could be a hair louder though. For some reason, I just remembered the pre-facelift or cleaned up or mid-cycle refresh that we reviewed just a little bit more raspier. It felt a little bit more tossable. I don't know if these batteries have made the difference, but it's still tossable, but just feels a little bit heavier. Maybe that was just broken in better, but it still rips like crazy, no doubt. But it's just on the cusp of like having too much and having just not enough. It's like right there. It's like you have to work it for it to move, but then when you're working it, you're not like breaking all kinds of speed limits. It's still fun. It's still like enjoyable that it requires this, you know, I wouldn't say beating, but just requires this sort of, yeah, my God, this thing is tossable. Oh my God, so much fun. Oh, it's a joy, it's a joy. This is exactly what I remembered. So fun, so fun. People really don't put enough value into the xDrive system. Like comparing this, and I know I'm comparing against the M2, but the M2 makes like 50 or 60 horsepower more than this, and this thing just totally sticks. The M2 with Cup 2s don't even stick. Now granted, this does have Pilot 4S's, doesn't have run flats, which is a thumbs up on BMW for putting actual good tires on this. But the grip on this thing is amazing. It's really, really good. Obviously I'm comparing against the M2 because we had that last week, and that thing would like go sideways on demand every time, all the time, and this thing just hooks really, really well. Anyways, we're getting the Stinger Tribute Edition next week, and it's the last of the Stingers. There's no more. And that car is not anywhere close. More luxurious in terms of weight and heaviness and maybe more highway theory tuned, but for the North American market. But this thing is just fun around corners, man. Like this thing wants to be tossed. And the visibility is excellent. I love the small, skinny A-pillar. Oh, just amazing, amazing chassis. I love it. So the question is, would you buy this version that has more boxy, skinnier headlights? They're trying to obviously do something because they have to, and obviously this interior with these curved screens, thumbs up on the tech. Or would you buy last year's version that's softer on the outside, crappier tech, but feels a hair more tossable, doesn't have the electrification, a little bit worse on fuel for this one? You guys let me know in the comments below which you guys would pick, which one you guys would pick. Honestly, they're both pretty awesome. If you can get a deal on last year's version, that's what I would probably buy. But if you're leasing it, well, you got no choice. This is what you got to buy nonetheless. But it's great because it gives you everything the M3 has on a, you know, teaspoon versus tablespoon version. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching, for supporting us. We love you guys. We're on the road to 1 million subs. We're almost at 200K. We'll probably get 200K when we launch this video. Fingers crossed. If not, help us get there. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next one.